at me. Look at me. Look at me.
So this is going to be another hopefully short one, which always seems to be an apocryphal promise. But this is one of the lessons in which I take a lick a lot of people are interested in, transcribe it, break it down for you, and tell you what you can pull out of it. So I wanted to call this one 6 Slick Nick Smith Licks, except there's only one. And really the point of this is actually that this lick Nick Smith plays in the video for the song called The Rise, which is on the Soultone Symbols page. Soultone, holler at me. It seems complex, it seems virtuosic, but when you break it down, it's only one or two simple things. And really, I love how Nick and the gospel guys are kind of giving us permission to be simple, to take something really simple and sort of flesh it out. And I'm always seeing parallels with cooking. 98% of this intro will probably get cut or sent to the outtakes. But anywho, let me play this lick for you. And I'll play it medium-ish and then slow, so you can hear everything. So here goes. So there are only really two things you need to pull out of this to be able to start practicing it on your own. And the meat and potatoes is this part. That's basically all the vocabulary in the entire thing. The entire rest of the lick is a variation on that. For instance, right? That's just a chunk out of it. So let me break this down into two discrete kernels. Let's start with the most simple part. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's a great one to practice because it will both loosen up your left hand and help you work on your right foot. And by the way, anyone who thinks I'm doing a heel toe to be able to play those doubles, first of all, it's not difficult to play those doubles. I have extremely unimpressive bass drum chops. But second of all, they're 110% possible with simple heel up and sort of fast twitch muscle stuff. So let's focus in on that lick, and I'm going to move the right hand to the rim of the floor tom. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's not super impressive yet, although you could certainly play it as a fill already. But let's add in the other part of that. By the way, the reason I'm holding the mic is because when I'm playing this gospel chop stuff, I just can't deal with the mic stand pinning my arms down. So that's the second half. 1, 2, 3. And there are plenty of possibilities for orchestration with that, obviously. I'll take that. That's kind of Thomas Pridgen-esque. So the magic happens when you combine the two halves. So basically, you're just varying and orchestrating from that point. If I add more of the first and more to the second, I make it a 4-bar phrase. If I add one, if I double the first half and maintain the second half, it's a 6-beat phrase or a hemiola. Okay, so the last part of the lick is another variation on this, which is just. So that's just putting the cymbal accent in a different place. It's the same thing. It's still. But instead of playing the cymbal on the first and third beat, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you're playing it on the first and the dotted. So 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. So it'll be like this. So So that's the meat and potatoes of it. You can vary that and do pretty much whatever you want with it. And that's basically the entirety of that lick. The thing that makes it so impressive is just Nick Smith's ability to play it super clean and deploy it over a bunch of different surfaces with orchestration and sort of just real-time variation, sort of the way Tony Williams was famous for. Last week I was talking about people being practice fanatics, and once you recognize that, you can start to look closely, and like the Gospel Chops guys are pretty much the textbook for just mad scientists. You can just tell it's like they take the simple stuff and just work the shit out of it. And I keep coming back to like Grant Akatz and Ferran Adria because it's that same thing. It's deconstructing basic things. So the last part of the lick is this. So this is an important little bit to think about, and this is actually in one of Thomas Pridgen's early Gospel Chops video, just this kind of almost John Bonham-esque Steve Gadd era lick. And to be honest, I'm not super enamored of this. I don't really like bouncing off the rack tom with my left hand when I start those licks with my right. But if you listen to pretty much all of the really mainstream gospel people, whether it's Larnell Lewis or Calvin Rogers, that's a really big part of the vocabulary, and they make it sound great. So I really feel like I need to start shedding that and incorporating it more. So let me just show you this. Let me work this out a sec. So part of the reason it's difficult for me is I don't feel like there's anywhere to go. But if you make it a two-half phrase, it works out better, sort of the way Nick does. So let me show you. And then, of course, there's that great hand-to-hand crossover stuff, which is like my bread and butter, and which the roadmap and the latter modules of the coaching course is full of. Just this. So the whole thing again. Okay, I think we kept to our promise to keep it short. Guys, I'm Nate. This is the 80/20 Drummer. Here's the Learn More About Me segment. If you want to go deeper with the concepts in this video, I recommend something called the 80/20 Roadmap. Most drummers make some variation of the same 3 mistakes. They're not being able to play in time well, not playing clean, and not being able to improvise effectively without repeating themselves or hiccuping. The 80/20 Roadmap is kind of a crash course to evaluating those weaknesses and jumps you into some of the basic rudimentary vocabulary. And then the coaching course takes those rudimental tools and steps you through a bunch of scenarios where you're required to teach yourself to improvise and deploy them in a musical context. But first things first, start out with the roadmap. It's $5, it's dope as hell, and pretty well guarantee it'll help you. I've gotten really positive feedback so far, so that's been humbling. Anyway, Nate from the 80/20 Drummer. Enjoyed this one. See you next week. One love.